No.
I turned the air conditioning on because at some point it was
Conditioning on.
It was 72. It was 72.
20 degrees outside.
You lower the heat. You don't put on the AC.
Certified freak, 7 days a week. Wet ass pussy, make that pull out game weak.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Find a cross and fuck it.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of KMS Reloaded. This is a recap of Sunday the 15th. All right, let's dive right in. So the first big news, can't do it. But Steve Robinson going to be producing the show. Dave Cullinane taking a sick day in advance. So another example of what a great boss Kirk is to Mr. Cullinane. So it should be interesting to see what Steve has to say. I'm sure we're going to get a lot of neutral conversation right down the middle with no right-wing talking points at all. So that should be really, really interesting. So the show starts off. Everyone is still reeling, myself included, as I'm sure a lot of you out there are. Shane the Meat Cutter's anal fissure. That was horrific. A horrific story. Maybe, yeah, you know what? I will. I actually knew someone that had an anal fissure, and I actually thought it was quite hilarious because she was very embarrassed about it. It definitely wasn't my ex's sister. It definitely wasn't her. But yeah, I thought it was fucking hilarious because she was really embarrassed about it. But now I feel like a piece of shit when I see how painful it was. But as Kirk says, it couldn't have happened to a better person. Not Shane, but the other person. Anyway, moving on. So the guys, they talk about a few things. And then they get right into Linda Marx's oddly, as Mike put it, oddly upbeat ditty. And of course, what would she be talking about?
On Monday Night Football, on primetime TV, first quarter Bills and Bengals in Cincinnati.
Okay.
Both teams on the scoreboard score 7-3. A routine seeming tackle transformed what's to be.
This does not seem like it's about to.
Hold on. What?
This does not seem like it's introducing tragedy.
That's how you have no brain for this stuff.
I guess I'm not a music guy.
This is what you do. You set them up, and then I think. How long's the song, dude?
It is 2 minutes and 40 seconds.
Oh, a little ditty. Keeps them to 3 minutes.
So like you're saying, a routine tackle.
That's what it is.
It
She knows. She knows
so,
the
or
sport.
so we thought.
Yeah. Go ahead. Hold on. What city was it in again?
Cincinnati.
She must have been so happy when she nailed that rhyme. Go ahead.
Transformed what's to be. You came to celebrate, to watch him with pride, not to score.
Boy, were you
your
disappointed.
son on an ambulance ride.
Oh, jeez.
How heavy the air in the stadium that night. CPR replaced football. His life was his fight. Our lives changed forever at age
Our lives?
55.
Yes.
He fell on the field. Was your son still alive?
Good gosh.
Oh, it's just the mom?
They're
Yeah.
everything. These teams give their all, but it morphs from a game when a young safety falls.
It still sounds like we're celebrating. Am I wrong?
That's a church song.
In the meantime, I'm praying and thinking of you. My heart has compassion for what you're going through.
Passion's a tough one.
Sending hope, love, and prayers that your son makes it through.
I love Kirk just, of course, guessing her words the first time he hears the song. But then we learn of potential. Hopefully this wasn't a joke. I think this would be actually really funny for the potential of a Jon Stewart song.
How much for her to do a Jon Stewart song? Give a little information.
About $1,000,
I
I bet.
Sweet talked her for the Wilbur's. So
Oh, did you have to pay her for that? Or
I
no?
did not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah, if she knows there's death, if she smells blood, maybe she'll just do it. She'll
That's
be
what I mean.
inspired to do it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know.
If she knows there's a corpse.
I mean, if she has to, we probably should write the
We
song.
could do that.
She'd
Yeah,
perform it.
I could do
bet.
that. Yeah.
Interesting. Don't you want her to write it, though?
Well, no, but she didn't know. I mean, I don't know.
I would love.
Didn't
her to write
she?
the
In
song.
a way. Didn't we all know?
That's
you
true.
know?
We didn't know when, we didn't know much. He told us who guest starred on Starsky and yeah, I mean, I can do this, right? I got it. I got
pretty
it.
good.
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll handle it.
That's pretty
We're
good.
good. Yeah, we're good. We can handle that.
And that, I know I'm harping on the tone, but the idea that she's
I like that
writing...
Mike is like very critical of Linda Mark's music.
She's writing to the mother, and it's like, I hope my son's alive.
Well, she's switching narratives for simple people that might be hard to follow.
I guess so,
She's
yeah.
a storyteller.
Yeah.
You know how many awards she's won? I mean, she is critically acclaimed. I'm not even.
What
being
awards?
I
sarcastic.
don't know how many awards.
She's like songwriter, like New England Songwriter of the Year, like shit like that.
That's a big one.
To heaven you flew, to heaven you soared. When Jesus saw you, he said, "We are all aboard." I mean, it's sort of that. I mean, we could do that.
You've
I'll get to work
mastered
on it.
her...
Well, I'm writing it for her. This is what
Her
the great,
style
this is what the great
anyways, yeah.
songwriters do. They sing
Right.
they write for other artists.
amazingly quickly, in fact.
Yeah,
You
almost
were
like I've
able
already
to-
written it.
Freaking Kirk, man. It's crazy how he can just come up with anything on the spot in any situation he's in. And it kind of leads into the next clip where Kirk is talking about his potential job interview for the night job on the radio. And it's just funny. He can just like turn it on. He would have been like a great like salesman or something like that, because he's just so full of shit and he just sells it so well.
Tell me a little bit about why you wanted to get into radio.
Ooh, good one.
I grew up listening to it. I loved it as a kid, whether it was Mike and the Mad Dog or Stern or The Big Show. It's just something I always wanted to do. I remember driving around and almost pretending I was hosting and thinking about things and disagreeing and hearing a caller for too long and thinking, I don't want this guy to be on anymore. So when I had my chance to do it, I did it my way. I love radio to this point. Excuse me, Rick. But, radio still is something I care about. And I worry that it's struggling and dying slowly. And if I can help keep it alive in my own way for a short period of time, well, heck, I'm happy to participate in that. It's like, whether it's, it's like my guy says, Monty, the Bruins coach, who I love, and I hope to have on a couple of times a week. If you could check him to the,
A couple times a week.
a couple times a week.
What the hell's this guy doing here? I thought this was an interview.
I'm
What's
just
this-
taking
My
notes.
sidekick.
I'm taking
my sidekick. Yeah, Shane couldn't make it. He's cutting meat tonight. I'm sorry, Rick. Go ahead.
2 of the 3 examples that you gave were actually New York-based radio programs. You understand this is Boston. We're very
Yes, Rick, you understand I was a
parochial
number one.
here.
You understand I was a number one
He's
radio host in Boston. Like I beat your station all the time. You used to say, "I wish you were on my station." Why are you being combative?
I personally don't remember saying that.
I love Dave role playing. But the tough thing about Kirk, and it's true, as we learn in a second, is that the hard thing about Kirk applying for this job, especially if he does it the old-fashioned way, is you need to give a list of your references. And unfortunately for Kirk,
Who would your references be for this
What do you mean?
for this on this application?
That's a tricky one. I'm not gonna lie to you. Very good, Chris. I burned a lot of bridges.
then the guys, they start talking about Dana White. They play the clip of Dana White basically being asked a question about his punishment for slapping his wife. I don't really have much more to add than that, but I will say I find it hilarious when these journalists who have no power, they don't get what they want and they kind of just like stamp their feet like babies. And it's true, like Dana said, like if he's not going to get in trouble by his employers, then like what the fuck is anyone going to do? I mean, I don't condone what he did. I've never hit anyone like that, and no one else should ever hit anyone like that. The guys did ask the question on one of the other shows why he got away with it and why he's not really getting shit for it. Number one, it's because he's Dana White and he's not in the mainstream like others are. I think the big thing is, and this isn't an excuse, but I think it's the big reason is because it's on the video is he gets hit first. That's not an excuse, obviously, but that's why I think he kind of got away with it. If it was just a video of him slamming her and then taking her down or whatever he did after he hit her, I think it would have went much different. But the fact that he smacked her first, the fact that she didn't come out in the media and put him on blast like was what usually happens, that's the reason why. And it's definitely not like I've seen online that it like if this was Ray Rice and big difference between what Ray Rice did and what Dana White did. I know people I saw that comparison. I saw the Rihanna comparison. And just none of those hold water to me. Completely different situations. But either way, you should never put your hands on anybody unless you want to beat up Dave Cullinane. Then that's okay. So we get to the calls. The calls were great. The calls have been pretty good lately, but the calls were exceptional on Sunday's episode. On this next clip, it gets revealed to us that Dave Cullinane is one of the greatest thinkers of all time. I mean, this is cemented in this clip, and I love Mike's face in this clip.
I thought about taking my kids to the movies for the first time this weekend, and I was thinking to myself, no school tomorrow, right? Wouldn't this be a good weekend to release a kids' movie?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then the wheels start turning, and I start writing.
Well, is there?
Puss in Boots,
but they have
that's
Puss in
PG.
Boots. It's
But
still.
PG.
You
What's
could
that?
take your kids to go see that.
What's that, 8 and above?
Dave. You fucking
It's called Puss in Boots.
Dave.
Yeah, it's not what you're thinking.
I bet it's a little.
You get some girl in big boots getting her pussy licked by somebody.
I saw Shrek. I think Puss in Shrek was like a little edgy, right?
He's
Like,
a spinoff of that, right?
I think so.
Edgy,
Yeah.
yeah.
A little edgy.
So you're worried about taking your kids to see Puss in Boots? A fucking cat.
I'm not overly worried, but I thought
It'd be totally fine.
I certainly would.
Maybe
prefer
I'm probably the
Bolt
perfect-
or
Your daughter's
something.
dropping C-bombs in the hallways
down,
at school.
Mike, right?
Okay, I'm taking my kids to see Jackass Forever. He's 9, so I shouldn't say anything. But
Yeah, that was a great idea, Dave. I got to give credit to Dave, though. He doesn't hesitate to throw himself out there. So I always give kudos to Dave for that. He's not afraid to make himself look stupid. And like Mike aptly pointed out, you're really worried about your kid going to see Puss in Boots when she's running around the house, swearing at you and swearing at school. I can only imagine what she's saying to your poor parents. So, yeah, moving on. Keeping in the Cullinane family dynamic here, we have one of the best part. The next 2 calls are probably my favorite parts of the show. And, I mean, who else but the one, the only Sebastian calls in.
Ring, ring, David. It's Sebastian.
Hello, Sebastian.
who is Sebastian, Mike?
You may recall I met your father out in Reno in 1992. We fell in love that week.
That's right. Yes.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Sebastian. How can I
Yes,
forget that?
of
Do you remember that, Dave, or no?
Yeah, I do recall.
30
Yeah.
years ago,
The
Sebastian,
accusation,
you were making love to Big Jack Cullinane. This is according to him, not me, Dave. Go ahead.
Do you ever wonder why your father gets so angry, David?
Like there's something inside of him.
I do from time to time.
The other day,
No one-
sure. Yeah.
No one will ever please your father like I did. May I tell you a story, David?
Sure.
You see, I followed Big Jack back to Norwood after the conference in Reno, and let's just say he has some experience with anal fissures.
Oh, good.
That's timely.
Do you remember the tool shed, David, in your father's backyard?
Yes. Yeah, I know it quite well. Yes.
Oh, so does he.
We used to sneak out there. Of course, Kathy was drunk. She didn't know what was going on. And I had your dad tied up like a pretzel. He was shirtless as always, and I bit his hole
Good
in his
God.
dungarees, and I sodomized him with a 1-inch drill bit.
Wait a minute. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yes,
See,
Sebastian?
David, your father loves you very much. I always talked about you and none of the other kids.
Oh, interesting.
I was
That makes me feel nice.
staying at the Holiday Inn over in Dedham, and I would sneak off quite often. Just, David, your father loves you very much, so please have him call me, and it's Sebastian. Goodbye.
Will you do that?
You have his number?
Yes.
Good.
I wrote it down.
Good.
But we also learn that Big Jack isn't just a fan of the men. He also loves the teenage girls.
Go ahead. You have a question for Dave then?
Yes. Dave, do you think Jack Cullinane has wet dreams about your ex-girlfriend?
It's his best question yet, I think.
I'll
Because
just say
I'm
this.
curious about the answer.
He's asking the question everyone's
Yeah.
been thinking.
I wouldn't put it past him. I wouldn't.
He's old to have wet dreams, but yeah.
I would, based
you
on
never know.
previous calls, but
Sure. Yeah. It's true. He was very angry about the breakup.
He was extremely angry.
Very angry.
But now, obviously, I believe sometimes people call in as characters.
Yeah.
But hypothetically, if you, when next time you're at your parents' house and you mention the name Sebastian, and your dad kind of stops in his tracks, and then just like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I'll try it, Mike.
I'm just saying,
I'll
test it
report
out.
back to you.
Test it out.
Yeah, let's do that.
Poor Big Jack. Dave definitely, hopefully he has a sense of humor, Big Jack, and Dave has to play this shit for him because that would be hilarious to get his reaction on the show or something like that. Fucking Big Jack. All right, so then we get to the other favorite part of the show that I had was Chris Clemmer calling in the show. I thought this was fucking great. This guy nailed it.
Hey, Kirk, it's Clemmer.
Hey, Chris, how's it going?
I'm doing good. I'm good.
Oh, wow. Hello, Chris. Good to talk to you.
Wait a minute. We might have a winner here. What's that?
I thought you guys were going to have me in on Friday as a regular, but you had Shane in. I've got a game if you'll play.
Cue it up, Dave.
Oh, my God.
It's very good.
I thought Shane put in some effort, Mike, on that game.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, Dave was too critical of that, I thought.
It was a little just slow. Like, he just didn't...
In a perfect world, he would have had it set up, but he wouldn't have known. The lights were off.
It's amazing. I know where we talked to Stacy on that show, Mike.
No, I was here for that, I think.
Okay, whatever. Who cares? Huh?
Just saying.
Fucking shows. Fuck you. Hello.
Great music. Oh.
Who's that? This?
Yes.
Okay. Turn it down. Go ahead, Chris.
So, this is one I thought of myself. It's I call it Mount Rushmore of people I've disappointed in my life. So how it works?
Okay.
I go first, then Kirk, and then at the end, I don't know, maybe Mike can judge the winner or something.
Okay, go ahead.
That's very good.
The first one away, with my dad. I mean, clearly he expected more of me and, my life, and now I'm basically living in an Airbnb like a modern-day gypsy. So he'd probably be disappointed.
Your dad's the first one. Okay.
Well, actually, Kirk, because my dad died in an election year, I actually get to go twice.
Oh, I didn't realize that, Chris. He did? What year did he die?
Those are the rules.
92.
Oh, sure. Yeah, of course. First year I ever voted for president. So go ahead.
Next, I'm going to have to go with Jay Buhner. He could have had a great career as a designated hitter, but I stopped doing that simulation, so it just kind of went by the wayside.
Many irrational people have been angry about that. Like angry to the point where I've had Albanian refugees reach out to me for shelter.
I don't know that.
So much as perplexed, I think.
I would just say that there have been people who know people, even in Western Massachusetts, who are like, I just can't speak to this guy anymore. They've taken their boat and gone out to sea. So
no, that's.
We wish them all well. Yes.
Yeah, that guy nailed the Clemmer impersonation. I didn't want to put too long of a clip because there's so many in here already. I figured you guys would rather watch those, but there's a later on, right before he hangs up. He's like, the guy has like a whine. Oh my God, it's fucking perfect. It is. He nails Chris Clemmer. So hopefully he continues to call the show. All right, so that's pretty much it for KMS Reloaded. I'm gonna have Mike Geary, Deep in Thought, close us out today.
Mike, do you ever get excited when your mom tickles your penis or no?
It's a funny image.
Wouldn't you, sir? I mean, I am a man.
That's a good last call. It's the funny image.
Is it?
What's the idea of Mike just sitting there and your mom just
tickling?
Like, tickling, ooh, ticky, ticky.
And me not laugh. I'm not amused or aroused.
Yes. I think you would just get aroused like no matter what at that point.
It is not a micro penis.